Mike, what are some tips and tricks, I guess, that you could give, people who are possibly thinking about buying or people who are, still on the fence about selling?
The big thing I want to kind of pass along to people is find out what your end goal is.
What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out my video. This is a quick little podcast I did with one of my good business partners, Domonic Wendell, last week. It goes over some things that we're seeing in the market and what we're telling our clients to make sure they're staying informed and making the best decisions for them. If you stay till the end of this video, there will be a free buyers and sellers guide that you can go and get for no sign up at all. And if you have any other questions about the market, my information is down below. Don't hesitate to hit me up.
What's going on, everybody? Domonic Wendell, Arizona Realtor, and I am here with my good friend, Mike Holt. Mike, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm good friends with Dom. We both work in the greater Phoenix area, work with EXP, trying to help people buy and sell houses.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we actually wanted to just hop on here, kind of talk about some stuff that's going on with the market. And we just want to be able to deliver value to people in the Phoenix area. I think that's a big thing is honestly, we want to come from a genuine place and give people advice that we would give ourselves. And so that's kind of how we just kind of do business and whatnot. So I think the first thing that we wanted to go over was, Mike, what's going on with the real estate market right now?
It's slowly changing. Last year, we're both about 2 years into doing this whole real estate thing. We came into it when it was a crazy time. It's now starting to slowly slow down, but it's still fighting for every single dollar out there. Every buyer's scrambling to get something to buy a house, and we're just trying to help.
Yeah, and I think honestly, a lot of people right now are kind of freaking out because they kind of feel like they missed the wave a little bit with selling their property. But honestly, it's still a really good time to sell. A lot of people are also worried about the interest rates when they're going to back to buy. It's like, why do I want to go pay that extra or the extra payments on the mortgage and everything with the higher interest rates? And honestly, that is not the biggest problem right now. I think what we're more seeing with people is there is so much more options out there for when you do go buy. I think it gives more people a better opportunity. Yes, you're going to have to obviously fight the interest rates, but that you're not married to the interest rate. You're married to the home. You're dating the interest rate. You can always go back and refinance, and I think that's just kind of something that I'm trying to make aware to my clients, just to make sure that, hey, once you get locked into that interest rate, it's not going to be there forever. You're always going to have that option of refinancing down the road.
Yeah, right now, like with the inflation the way it is, the Fed is trying to slow that down, put it on a halt. If you get into a home now, you're starting to build equity immediately. And then when interest rates do start to drop back down, you can go and refinance, and then your payments are getting better. So
Exactly. And so I guess what are some big questions that you're getting, Mike, about the real estate market? Like, are people more worried about interest rates, or I guess what is the big question that people are kind of asking you?
the big question that I'm getting from a lot of people right now is, are home prices going to drop similar to 2008? And at least here in the Phoenix area, I don't see that happening. We're still very far from even a balanced market. We're currently only at a month and a half of supply. Just to compare, like a month ago, we were at 0.8 months of supply. So we got a long ways to go before we have enough homes available to sell.
Yeah, and I also think it's also good to make aware to people that the Phoenix area, our homeostasis for our market is more of a seller's market. We have we have a long journey ahead of us if we're going to get into a buyer's market, in my opinion. We're so far behind on the production of homes of getting built, or of them getting built, and the demand for buyers is still super high. I mean, Phoenix is one of the hottest markets in the US, and just from the stats that we've seen, and I think a lot of people are also just relocating from or to here just because it's a cheaper cost of living compared to, Washington, Oregon, California, New York, Chicago, Florida, all of these other places. And the big thing that I think drove the market was obviously low interest rates. Yes, that was a big one. But also people being able to come over and buy houses cash. They were completely beating out all of their competition. And that's where we saw a big increase in the prices. I think another big factor is obviously the low interest rates. Everybody that qualified for a home, they were like, well, especially, secondary homeowners. A lot of people were like, well, if, the government's just going to give us free money, we might as well, take advantage of the opportunity while it's still here.
Yeah.
And so I think so Mike, how are you going to guide your clients through this crazy market right now with interest rates and obviously, more inventory and everything? What are you going to do to be more proactive?
My goal anytime, whether it's a buyer or a seller that I'm working with, I want to just give them the facts. Like I said, we're at a month and a half of supply right now. We've got 4,000 more homes than we had a month ago. I just want to give people the data and the facts to make a good decision. I'm not here to push you into a decision one way or the other. I'm just to help here to guide you. So.
No, 100%. And I also think just being able to provide your clients good information that is true. I think a lot of people rely on getting their information from the news, which, however you get your information is however you get your information. But I think also going deep into, people who have actually done data on this and they track data for a living, I think that is a really good place. Like, Mike, what are a couple of those websites that we use? I can't even remember their names.
So we have here in the Phoenix area, we're kind of quite lucky. We've got the Cromford Market Index, that's specifically to the greater Phoenix area. It tracks basically everything from sales prices to supply, how quickly homes are selling. And then both of us have access to that data, and we can provide that to any of the clients that we're working with to kind of give you a snapshot of where we're at in the market and where we're trending. So
100%. And I also think another good thing, especially with another question or concern that I'm getting is, a lot of people are losing quite a bit of money on the stock market. If you're invested in crypto, that's obviously down as well. And so they're wondering, like, where do I put my money? And I think going back to the basics, real estate, I think that is one of the safest investments you can make because it is a real tangible asset. Somebody's always going to have a place to live. And I think this kind of ties into buying in the market as well. It's whether you're living in a house or not, you're paying somebody's mortgage. I think it's either you're paying your own or you're paying somebody else's. So decide what you want to do. Yes. Okay. I understand that the monthly payments are probably a little bit more inflated than what they were, 6 months ago, 12 months ago. But the thing is you are also building equity. You're not just throwing away that money like you are when you are renting. And so that's why we're really trying to just more educate our clients on the great portion of buying a house, being able to leverage that equity to therefore, either get a bigger property or buy an investment property to start building your wealth. I think that's a big thing that we just try to educate our clients with. Like, Mike, you have an investment property, right?
Yep. I just bought one 6 months ago. That home value has already gone up to 60 grand in the 6 months that I've owned it. So it's just a great way to build generational wealth. Like, start paying yourself back, basically.
Exactly.
You throwing money towards rent, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's nice to be able to see something, where you're getting a good return, even when that monthly check comes in, you're starting to see that. Obviously you need to save up for expenses and everything for the property, but I think starting to see that value just creep up and then also seeing that monthly money come in, that's got to be a really good feeling. So, so Mike, what are some tips and tricks, I guess, that you could give for, people who are possibly thinking about buying or people who are, still on the fence about selling, like they want to sell, but they feel like they kind of missed out? What are some tips and tricks that you could kind of give them?
The big thing I want to kind of pass along to people is find out what your end goal is. Don't make any kind of big decision like this on a whim. Make sure that you have your end goal in mind and you're finding a trusted professional to go and help you achieve that goal.
100%. Yeah. I think honestly, with just knowing how, like, what your intention is at the end of everything. Are you just making this decision off of peer pressure from seeing everybody else like sell their house for, top dollar and everything? Or is this actually something that you want to do and you're not just trying to take advantage of the market? I think that's a big thing. Just knowing your timeline, where what are you doing after you sell? I've had quite a bit of people say, after we sell it, we think we just want to rent. And it's like, you know, I have to be able to at least give my personal opinion on that topic. Obviously, yes, it is very intriguing, very enticing to sell that property, cash out and everything, and then just kind of possibly sit there and rent for a year or two. I think being able to roll at least some of that equity back into another property, yes, once again, we're going to be facing those monthly payments that are a little bit higher than you would like, but also with the Phoenix market continuously rising, in my opinion, I don't think the market's going to take a dip. I think it may plateau. We're probably going to see that maybe, but I don't think that we're going to see a big crash like we did back in, 07, 08, 09, 2010, just for the sheer fact that these are two different issues. Let's be honest. Back then, it was a lending issue. We don't have a lending issue now. We have credit reports that need to be checked. We have, income requirements that need to be checked. All of that stuff. There are a lot more extensive steps that you have to go through to be able to get pre-qualified for a house. And so back then, they were just giving a loan out to about anybody and everybody who could fog up a mirror. So that's the thing that you guys need to take into consideration is make sure you're always reinvesting into yourself. This isn't just reinvesting your money, it's reinvesting into your future. I think that is a big solid plan that people need to kind of more wrap their head around and not just sell and then be like, hey, we're going to just rent. Obviously everybody's circumstances are different. I just think that's my strong opinion.
Yeah. When it comes to like 2007, 2008 with the lending side of things, there were a lot of no verified income, no documentation loans out there. Like I said, anyone that could fog up a mirror could basically get a loan. Here in 2022, that's not happening. You need to have verified income. You need to show that you can afford those payments. And then you also have be able to have a substantial down payment as well to actually qualify. So
and to just be competitive, honestly. I think
absolutely. It's a world of difference. We're so low on supply. Over the last 10 years, we've underbuilt homes by so far. Like I forget the exact number, but we need to overbuild at least here in the Phoenix area for the next 6 years to catch up to where our population actually stands for every house. Exactly. And even with all the new builds, everything is on the outside of the greater Phoenix area. So Buckeye, Goodyear, Maricopa, Casa Grande. If you're cool with living out on the outskirts of town, you can do it, get a new construction that way. But if you want to be near to the center part of the city, prices are just going to keep going up.
And so, Mike, I guess if people are thinking about, what they've made the decision that they do want to sell, but they're on the fence about, should we go back to a resale home or should we go with a new build? What are your opinions on that?
It kind of depends on what your goals are. If you want a brand new home that you're comfortable with a longer commute, like I mentioned earlier, like a new build home might be good for you. And if you're looking for something maybe with some character, a built out neighborhood and a move-in ready house where you're not waiting for the house to actually be completed, an existing home may be better for you.
Yeah. And I think being able to also just weigh out the pros and cons of new builds, that's kind of something that I also do with my clients is like, yes, hey, we're obviously, if we're going to go with a new build, you guys are going to have to wait a little bit longer than expected on your move. But the good thing is, especially like what we saw this past 2 years with just the amount of appreciation that we saw, going with a new build was actually a really good, smart investment. Just for the sheer fact that, you're building equity without even having to make a mortgage payment. You got to put down your earnest deposit and you don't make that first mortgage payment until you move into the home. Mm-hmm. And that's also the nice part about it. So, I mean, obviously, yes, being able to move into a home that is ready for you to just move into it, that's obviously very intriguing, like I said before, but it's sometimes good to weigh out the options, especially if you're kind of like a numbers person in your head and everything. Weigh out the numbers, I think it never hurts. And especially if you're okay with moving to the outskirts of town. Casa Grande, Maricopa, those are two really booming places that have grown so much in just these past 10 years. I mean,
Yeah, even like Santan Valley, when like the highway gets completed out there, that's gonna just blow up in
Yeah.
population and value. So
And I think that's just a super good thing to be able to think about is like, where do we want to be? How does our lifestyle want to be? And just kind of, like I said, weigh out the pros and cons of everything and just see if it's going to work, if it's going to make sense to you. Um, but so Mike, I guess what are some things that are going to be able to, that you're going to do this coming year, especially with the market changing and everything, to set yourself aside from other realtors?
my big thing is I want to provide value upfront to people. Even if you have no intention of ever having me help you buy or sell your house, I just want to put value out in the world to make sure that people are making the right decisions for them. And so I'm pushing very heavy into video content, social media to make sure that good information is out there and that I know people are getting bombarded with a bunch of scare tactics that are getting them to make bad decisions or rush into decisions. I just want to have good information out there that could hopefully help, even if just one person. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just being able to give out that free, the free value. That's kind of what sets people aside is, people always kind of, not not everybody, but there are definitely people that are agents that kind of look for, hey, you want this information? Well, hey, pay me, and that's just not how it is. I think givers are always just going to give. And, we mean it from the bottom of our hearts that we just genuinely want to see other people make good decisions, help people out, because that's how we want to feel. We always want to be able to have other people from an outside perspective help us make good decisions. I think that's something, because we Mike and I talk basically daily, and we always just try to help each other out, whether it's helping with showings or whether it's asking for information or whatever the case may be. I think it's just always, we've always come from a place of just giving and being able to especially explode that with our social media. I think that's something that we're really trying to take over right now, is just putting out free content for people to be able to have access to with no payment. I think the biggest thing with having social media content out there for people that is also free is they're going to be able to get a chance to know you as a person. You know, I've seen it endless amounts of time where, agents have said, making videos has been one of the best things for our business, just for the sheer fact that, people are constantly watching that. And that's another way to be able to stay in front of your clients. It's another way for your clients to be able to stay up to date with what you're doing. And also being able to show your clients how you are going out there, making your money and just being active, how you are, bringing in new blood and everything for your clients. And also just being able to provide, once again, free value. I think that's an endless thing that we can constantly do. And we also enjoy it too. I think that's a big thing for me is I truly just love making videos and everything. It's fun. You mess up a couple of times, you stumble over your words, but that's the real
reels are great.
yeah. That's really just us as real people. We're nothing special or anything. We just want to come from a genuine place.
Yeah, like, and just kind of going back a little bit, like it. I know it's kind of the same way for you, but like the reason I got into real estate is I just want to help people. Like I came from corporate world. I was working with software developers that is just making things more efficient. That's not really helping people. It's just making someone else more money. So with this, like I truly get to help people make a great decision in their life.
And you're able to have an effect on that, on their life as well. You're actually communicating with the end consumer. And I think that's so valuable as it is right there. With a big corporation like that, you're running the whole machine and everything, but you never really get to come in contact with the end user. And I think with being able to be in real estate, we've really flourished just for the sheer fact that, having a genuine care for other people is going to show. You do enough good things for other people, things are going to happen good to you. So I think that's also something that we also take into consideration. And so I think another thing too, there was just something that you just said. I can't even remember it. I'm running a blank. Yeah.
It just comes down to like, yes, like real estate can be lucrative. but like that's not my primary goal. I would rather put positive vibes and good things out in the world that are going to help people, and then in turn it'll eventually help me. So.
Yeah. Oh, and it just came back to me. So I think, so for me, like Mike was saying, he's been in a corporate position to where he's helping other people make more money and everything. And I think the big thing that we kind of have in common is, we came from, kind of smaller towns and whatnot. And we've always kind of had that very tight knit family feel with our towns and everything. I mean, for me, I'm from the Midwest in Nebraska. Grew up with about 1,100 people in my total town, about 200 people in my total high school. And so just being able to have, watching out for other people, I think that was a big thing that kind of taught me to just, care for other people. Don't ever try to just do others bad or, try to make that quick buck just because, yeah, well, maybe this isn't the best decision for this person, but it's going to make me money. That's short-term thinking. And honestly, we're not about that. We want to be able to be in these people's lives for a very long time, more than anything. And I think the biggest thing that sets us aside is, once you're a client, you're not just a client. You're not just another number. You're also becoming a friend. That's a big thing that I make aware to my clients is making sure that, hey, like, you guys ever have anything going on in your life? Like, please, by all means, let me know what I can do to help you. If you go out of town or whatnot, hey, if you need somebody to go check on the house, I would love to, I sold you the thing. So, that we already have that relationship built. So I think that's kind of something that I try to pride myself
in. Yeah, definitely. It's where I get my enjoyment out of doing this job every day.
100%. And truthfully, the other great thing about real estate is it also brings you out of your shell. I think for me, when I first came over to Arizona, I wasn't very outgoing or anything of that sort. And when I finally hit real estate and real estate came into my life, that's when it really kind of showed that, this feels good internally because I don't feel like I'm forcing anything. I feel like I'm always coming from the heart. And when people see that, they're going to gravitate towards that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like for me, like prior to me getting into real estate, I was a social media consumer, not a social media maker. But now like it's part of the job. And like you said kind of earlier, like it's fun making content. You go and have fun, make some weird, goofy stuff, and just throw it out and help people with some good information.
Yeah, and you make people smile at the end of the day. I mean, Mike and I were recording a couple videos today and we messed up and we're just like, oh my gosh, dude, these bloopers are going to be gold. But well, other than that, Mike, is there anything else that you can think of that would be, some good information for people possibly looking to move to the Arizona market or possibly looking to move out of the Arizona market?
So if you're looking to move into the greater Phoenix area, I know both of us have some really good resources when it comes to things to do in the area. We're planning some content out for the next few weeks that will include that stuff as well. But it's a great area to move to. We have the lowdown on what areas are conducive to different kind of lifestyles. So if you have any questions as far as like entertainment, things to do, just reach out to us. And then if you have questions about the market, like we'll tell you straight facts. We're not going to bullshit you. So just let us know. We'll help you out.
Oh, I love it. Well, Mike, how can people get a hold of you if they do want to have a conversation with you about that stuff?
So if you can't see by my background here, I'm Mike Holt Realty, basically everywhere. And you can also text me or call me at 804-536-4748.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys found this somewhat valuable and some good information for you guys to possibly make a decision down the road. Or if, like we said, if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us. The best way to reach me at would be social media at Domonic Wendell AZ Realtor. It'll be my little name handle. But yeah, go ahead, reach out to me on that, or you can shoot me a call. My phone number is 308-352-8091. But other than that, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day. And Mike, we're going to sign out. All right.
Yeah. Guys.